So what grades are you all in?
Eighth.
All eighth.
Yes.
Do you all attend the same school?
No.
Do you all attend different schools?
Yes.
So were you all going to ask questions, or do you want me to talk?
I can ask questions. I was kind of wondering about the 1,200 Black Santas.
1,200 Black Santas, yeah.
I thought it was 102.
What?
No, it's
Some large
it's
number.
it's 1,200 Black Santas with 2,400 eyes. I know because a young woman named Lauren wrote a song, a great song called Black Santas. She's a wizard rocker, like she usually writes songs about Harry Potter, so she has experience with the writing songs about books genre. But I really think that her song about Black Santas is the best. And the chorus is that, like, when we go to hook up, we will be watched by the 2,400 eyes of 1,200 Black Santas. It's a very funny song. But no, that's a good question. The reason, I don't know why I picked the number, but the reason I picked Black Santas, the reason that that's so important in the book is that the book is really about how you imagine your stories. And like, I don't think that I'm like breaking news to you guys to say that we made Santa up. So like, why did we make when we made Santa up, why did we make him white? You know, there's no reason that he has to be white. Like, he's ostensibly based on St. Nicholas, who was European, but like, St. Nicholas wasn't like fat, and he didn't wear a red suit, and he didn't have a big white beard. Like, all that stuff is stuff that we made up. So like, the whole book is about trying to like imagine things more complexly, like whether it's Q having to imagine Margo as like more than just like this pretty thing that he's always liked, or Margo having to imagine Q as more than like a convenient vehicle for her to get wherever she wants to go.
Just one moment. Somewhere in the book, like at the very end, there was a quote that she was trying to make him more like the person in her story.
Yeah.
So it kind of interferes with the whole human vehicle driver.
Well, but I mean, she was trying to make him, she kept wanting him to be something that he wasn't, right? Like, or something, she wanted to simplify him, whether she wanted to use him as a convenient method of transportation, or she wanted to sort of picture him as a knight in shining armor. Like, either way, right? It's kind of, no one is simply a knight in shining armor or convenient, Like, we're all people, like, complex and multifaceted and, fascinating. And so that's the argument of the Black Santas, and they say that later in the book. Like, I think Q or Angela or someone says, like, they're just trying to get us to imagine our stories more complexly. And Radar says, like, I always think about how I imagine my myths when I eat my freaking Lucky Charms with my freaking Black Santa spoon. Like, that's sort of, but I think I'm with Radar's parents. That, like, now I actually have a very large collection of Black Santas as a result of the book, because people keep sending them to me. So.
Oh, okay.
Why did you make the book so, probably should be saying, but sexually oriented? It's like always back and forth to the topic of
sex?
What to who.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone actually has sex in the book.
No, but it
Do
implies
they?
that people do.
It implies, especially in the beginning, Becca and Jace.
Oh, yeah.
I'm John. No, yeah, Becca and Jace. Well, I mean, I think that that's an important part of being 17 years old. I don't think it's the most important part of being 17 years old. I don't think it's the most interesting facet of life when you're 17. But teenagers are grappling in a variety of ways with questions of sexuality, like with questions of, is it, do I want to date this person? And if I do want to date them, do I want to make out with them? And like all, the sort of broader implications of that. Yeah, and trying to figure out like what, where do your values put you, And so I wanted to show a broad variety of responses to that. Radar and Angela, on the other hand, have been dating for a long time and are very serious and are in love and are both virgins. So like, I wanted to show the sort of broad spectrum of responses to it, because I do think it's important. Like, it's awkward and, uncomfortable, but it's also important. But it's not like the only important thing, So I wanted to have it be like one kind of like motif in a larger conversation, if that makes sense.
And then another thing, where'd you get the idea for the fishes?
When Margo leaves the fishes in her friends' bedrooms, yeah. Well, there's this old movie called The Godfather that was like made like 20 years before you were born, weirdly. But this movie is like it's a classic gangster movie, like the classic movie about being a gangster. And there's a scene in that in which this character, Luca Brasi, is killed. I think I'm getting this right. And they find out that he's been killed because they receive like a fish in the mail, and that's their message that Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes, that he's like dead. So I wanted it to be, so that's probably where I got the idea, but I like the idea of like letting someone know that your relationship is over in a sort of non-literal way. So much of the book is like non-literal.
I really did like the description of like the SUV as being a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's a...
Well, you make, you know, you kind of make your house, wherever you are, you make your life, you know? I mean, you make your house, like when I was growing up, I lived in 2 different houses. I lived in a small house for most of my childhood. And then when I was in junior in high school, my parents moved to like one of these like, we lived in Orlando, Florida, so my parents moved to one of these like gigantic houses that were, you know, built with nothing but like plywood and, you know, would blow over in a stiff wind, but it was huge. And I was always interested in how like, how much, how much they wanted to have this nice house. But at the same, like when I moved there, I was like, you know, because no matter how big or small the space is, like you make it yours. And so I like the idea that these kids in this car would like begin to think of it as a, you know, as a house, because that's what it is. Like wherever you're living, you know, that's your house, and you build the rooms. They may be very small, but you build the rooms. Yeah.